know that I will never ever go away.
So you'll never have to worry.
As long as I care for the sparrows in the sky,
You'll never have to worry.
though it may seem today that I'm so far away from you. Have to fall, 'cause I'm right here before you call my name, and I'll come running to heal you, feel you, take you by the hand, and I'll show you the way to where I am. All you should know that I will never ever go away. The sparrows in the sky. Forget your yesterday, for when this night to brand new day gives way. Your life, your breath renewed, a ray of sun reminds you it's okay. You'll never be alone if you feel me. Take me into your heart, and we'll never, ever have to part. But you should know that I will never, ever go away. As long as I care for the sparrows in the sky. To worry about a thing, don't have to worry about a thing. Thought you should know that I will never ever go. So you'll never have to worry. As long as I care for the sparrows in the sky. Oh yeah, don't worry. Sarah never seen the righteous forsaken, his seed begging bread. So you'll never have to worry. Consider the lilies, how they grow. Whatever you need, your Father knows. Oh, come on, let me say.
Oh, you'll never. Don't you know you never have to worry? I will always be there. Oh yeah, said you will never have to worry. You will never have to worry. Oh, yes.
There's gotta be a better way. Gonna be alright. Every day you get that feeling, you know you want something more. There's a look in your eyes revealing what your life ought to have in store. Is there something that you've been missing? Something you wanna say? Oh, don't you feel you could just cry out? There's gotta be a better way.
There's got to be a better way than the way that you're living today. Gotta be somebody to say everything gonna be alright.
right.
There's gonna be a better day. I can feel it when I pray.
When I pray.
Trouble's gonna pass away. Everything gonna be alright.
Alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. 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 Everything's gonna be alright. See the things that you've been doing. You know you're wasting your time. You know that you should be pursuing something a little more worth your while. All your life, God's got a purpose.
Nothing's getting your way.
Now you see what it's all about. There's gotta be a better way.
There's got to be a better way than the way that you're living today.
Way that you're living.
Gotta be somebody to say everything gonna be alright.
Oh, that's
There's
right.
gonna be a better day. I can feel it when I pray. Trouble's gonna pass away. Everything gonna be alright.
Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Alright. Everything's gonna be alright.
There's got to be a better way
Gotta be,
than the way that
gotta
you're
be,
living today.
gotta be a better way.
Gotta be somebody to say everything gonna
Be alright. Alright.
There's gonna be a better day. I can feel it when I pray. Trouble's gonna pass away. Everything gonna be alright.
Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Alright. Everything's gonna be alright.
There's got to be a better way than the way that you're living today. Gotta be somebody to say everything gonna be alright. There's gonna be a better day. I can feel it when I pray. Trouble's gonna pass away. Everything gonna be alright.
Just between you and me, this is nice. There's no tricks. Ooh, this love is just between. This is not. Ooh, there's no tricks. This love is. Just what do I have to do to let you know? Should I make your flowers grow? Should I make it rain or snow? Yeah. So many things I've done just for you. Forest green and ocean blue. Just to show my love is true. Just between you and me. This is not. There's no tricks. This love is so real. Just between. This is not. There's no tricks. This love is so real, yeah. Don't you know I taught the birds to fly, hung the stars up in the sky? Can you guess the reason why? Can you take more than a passing glance? Nothing is by happenstance, yet you think it's just by chance. Just between you and me. This is not no tricks. This love is so real. Between you and me. This is not. There's no tricks.
All right, y'all. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, everybody.
We are back one more time. Third Wednesday in a row. Can you believe we survived?
I know. I'm like,
So far, so good. And
We made it.
Yeah, we have. Let me just tell you why we were able to do it this time. It's because today April and I both took naps. Now they were only like a minute and a half, but it was a nap.
Mine
You
was
know what I'm
actually
saying?
it was like 5 minutes.
That's a 5-minute
It was
nap.
like a
Mine
5-minute
was like,
nap.
I felt like
Yes.
30 seconds, but I got in the bed, put on some covers, and went to sleep for a few seconds, and that helped.
Yeah, that
You know what I'm saying?
works.
That's what happens when
It
you
does.
get old.
It works though.
And you've
No,
been
why
you've
don't
been
you
real.
stop saying that?
You're right. I'm not old.
It's not about old.
You are.
I'm not old. You can be old if you want to, but I am not old. So, you know.
Well, we're excited you guys have joined us one more time. Thank you for coming. This is Ask John and April Live, and this is our newest experiment
Yes.
with what we've been doing with our channel. We do like it. It's been a lot of fun. It's funny, even if we're tired, we get like a lot of energy right before it's time to actually come
I
on.
stay up late on live nights now.
Yeah. It's like after it's over, we're still energized and stuff like that. But, you know, catch us like an hour beforehand, man, it's snoozeville. It don't even make no sense. Hey, we're
Hi,
glad y'all here.
guys.
Hey,
Great
when
to
y'all
see
come
you
in,
again.
remember to actually tell us where you're coming from, where you're joining us from. It's good to see you guys back. Ambry, let's see.
Yes.
Is that CA? Is that how you pronounce it?
Hey.
AKA Mr. Research Ados. Okay. And he said, real sleep snoring is deep and better. You're right.
That
That's
is
what we
true.
get
I
tonight
cannot
after
wait
it's
for
over.
that. Yes.
Primo, good to see you again.
Hey, Primo.
Glad you're here. And we're excited for you. So we were thinking about this the other day. When you come on, we think it'd be nice if you have a friend or a family member or somebody, maybe you're not sure if there's a particular person that you think could benefit from this, but why don't you start a watch party? Why don't you just share it? Whatever you want to do, you can share it when the live is over. You can share it while it's happening. We actually probably think it's better that people actually experience the lives as they're happening. I think it sometimes is better. So
Yeah.
go ahead and do that now. You can start a watch party. You can share it with somebody, and hopefully this will help them. Tonight's subject is a good one too.
Got
So
ATL in the house.
okay. Gil Bonaparte. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
What?
hey, Gil.
Oh wow. We got oh.
South Kakalaki.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we spent some time in South Carolina years ago, and
Miss you too.
yeah, we do miss you, man.
Yes.
It's you know, it's funny, man. There's a lot of people that we have interacted with along the way that have kind of been close with us even after we moved. You know what I'm saying? He's
Yeah.
definitely
She
one
said
of those. So.
You pronounced it correctly.
I did pronounce it correctly.
He said.
Oh, okay. And I got applause. That's good.
Okay.
And I should use some applause sound effects wherever they are. Anyway. Okay, so tonight's topic is
Go ahead and put that up there.
yeah, well,
put the
yeah,
topic
I'll
up.
put the topic up. I think in some ways though, we're gonna probably have a longer question that we're going to read in the seconds
Yes.
that you will know. But we do want you to be aware of the topic, just in case you join a little bit later, and you can come into the conversation, jump right on in, and get right in with us. You can make your comments, you can ask your questions, whatever you want to do. Gives us an opportunity to do that. So we
Yeah.
got this for you so you can see it. I don't like your friends is
All
the topic
right.
tonight.
All right. What up, Tiffany? What up?
Uh-oh, okay.
Decatur in the house?
And that's Camila Alexander from ATL.
ATL.
Yeah.
ATL.
Yeah, we got
Love
a lot
it.
of people from around the
ATL
area.
folks.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Now, there was one more thing I wanted to say, though. I just thought about it.
Okay.
So, okay, I just said that you may have a friend or family member, somebody like that you want to share this with. You can do that, do the live, share a watch party, whatever you want to do. But I also wanted to say that as soon as you do that, what's going to happen is there are people that are right now making comments who, as long as you're watching on our YouTube channel or if you're watching from our page, which is the John and April page on Facebook, we can see all your comments. But I want to make
Right.
sure you know, because some of our friends were like, hey, I was saying stuff the whole time and you never said anything. It's because we can't see your comments. So if once you share it with somebody else, we're not going to be able to see their comments live. So that is a little wrinkle. But just know we ain't ignoring you.
No.
We probably can't see your comments. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
so tonight's
All right.
topic.
All right, so let's get to our question. And
Yes.
this person wanted to stay anonymous.
Yeah, sometimes that
Okay.
happens. And that's fine, by the way. When you send your questions in fact, here's where we want you to send them. We want you to send them directly to our Instagram. All right, so
Yeah.
DM us or whatever you want to do. And that's the information right there. At Just John and April is our Instagram handle. So if you send us your question or your comment, whatever it is, it might make the show. And sometimes you may say to us, we really don't want you to tell your, give our name up or whatever, and that's fine. You can be
Yes.
completely anonymous, and we won't share it, but we'll use the topic.
Okay, so here is the question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My wife does not like a friend of mine who has been my friend since childhood.
Okay.
We grew up together, and so we see ourselves as family. However, my wife does not care for her. Should I cut my ties with my childhood friend or stay loyal to my past friendships no matter what?
Ooh.
That is the question.
Wow.
Yes.
That's actually kind of a big deal question.
That's a big deal question. So before we get to that, though, I want to start with just talking about friends, period,
Okay.
in relationships, right?
All right.
Okay, so like your guy friends, my girlfriends, okay? And I want to talk about how we feel about that, how we feel about having, you know, your same sex friends and how that can impact the relationship. Okay. Because in our relationship, I know for us, you know, there have been times where John will either go out with his friends or talk to certain friends. And when he comes back home and starts talking to me, he talks to me as if I'm one of those friends.
And April does not like that.
I do
at
not
all.
like that.
Right.
So I become this guy friend.
Right.
And he talks to me like I'm a dude, and I don't like it.
And when she says that, what she means is I talk rough. I might joke with her the way that I joke with one of my boys or something like that. So it's not what you think, but it's also probably exactly what you think.
Right. It's like he's not talking to me like it's me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I don't like that.
Right.
And you know, there was a time when I had a close friend, or she's still my close friend, but we're very close, and she was talking to me often about her relationship and the terrible things that were happening between her and her husband.
And then April will start talking to me like I'm the other girl's husband, and like we got issues. So whatever issue she was just talking to her girl about on the phone, now it transfers to us, and we got the same problem. And I'm like, what is this?
So it would make me, I would get really emotional about it, and I would be mad.
Y'all, she would get mad at me because
I wasn't really mad at him though.
Well, whatever it is, it was like, you know what I'm saying? It was terrible.
And he would say, "Did you just get off the phone with so and so?"
Right.
And I'd be
no,
like,
I wouldn't even say that. After a while, I would just know. You were talking to what's her name, weren't you? You know what I'm saying?
And then I would be like, oh man, you know. So it was almost to the point where he was like, you know what? If you can't,
it wasn't
talk
almost
to
to
her,
the point.
it-
We
right.
actually said, "Bae, you're gonna have to choose. If you can't figure out how to actually talk to me like I'm me after you're done talking to her, you may not be able to be her friend no more."
And so I was like, okay, I do not want that to happen.
Right.
Let me get myself together. Let me make sure that I am able to leave that on the phone and come back and just be normal. And I did.
And I really tried to do
I
the
did.
same thing. I think I got better
You
as
did.
well.
You got better as well.
And really what happens now is I do sometimes slip back into talking to April like she's one of my boys. And then she says something, and then I remember I snap out of it and I go back. Like before, I used to be like, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? Now I
Right.
just believe her and say,
Exactly.
okay, you're right. My bad. And I try to get back to where we're supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a light version of what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are other situations where it's like, you know, wives feel like when the husband goes out with his boys, that's it. Like
Right.
he's gone for hours.
Right.
You know, the time spending is with them and not with her.
Right.
You know, you got sports that you're playing, you're watching sports, you're doing different things. And so it can really impact the relationship negatively when you're giving all your quality time effort to your boys and not your wife. You know what I'm saying? And then the wife on the other end, you have women, we're more emotional and we talk and we share feelings. And so sometimes I think what happens is if I'm sharing all my feelings and my emotions with my girls, right? And they're giving me all this advice, especially if they're single, you know, then I might come back to my relationship with a different kind of attitude.
Maybe I want
know?
you to share some of that emotion with me, and you don't have any left because you've spent it all basically with your girls.
Exactly.
Maybe I want to know how your day went, and you give me a short answer because you just told your girl on the phone on the way home how your day went, and I don't get any of it. And it seems kind of against the cliche, because the cliche would be that the man really doesn't care. You know, he would rather his wife not tell him that. But that's not true. Not for all men, and especially not me. I actually do want to know what's happening. How was your day? You know, if April would all of a sudden stop sharing her emotional side with me, I would definitely feel like something is wrong. I would think something is really wrong, actually. And
Right.
that would be a problem for me. So, yeah, I do think this is an issue that we need to tackle and try to help this person out in this situation.
Okay, so let's go back to Primo talking about Shalita Davis doesn't let me have friends.
Or you can't have friends.
So you don't
too,
have friend
Primo?
problem.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's see what Saba said. Y'all are good about not slipping up and saying the names.
Somehow we able to do this and not say the names of the people.
Yes, and I have to say so and so. Make sure I don't do that. So let's get back.
I'm putting this on the screen just in case Shalita is not watching and she watches later. I want to get Primo in trouble because this is not true. I know that ain't true. You have friends.
Okay, so let's go back to our question here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we basically put out there that sometimes this happens with same-sex friends. You know, I have friends, or the wife might have friends,
Mm-hmm.
and by the way, studies do show that relationships end up having issues when it comes to you giving yourself over to your friends in a way like high emotionally, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or highly emotional to the point where you don't have any of that when you come home.
It's really a boundaries issue, right? It seems like there's certain parts of you that maybe you should reserve for your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we think of it that way, but if we expend all of ourselves with other people, we don't have anything left for our spouse. So it's kind of one of those things that you think of it as just an outlet. This is no big deal. This is just my friend. No big deal. But if it's causing you to not have any bandwidth left for your spouse and they need that, that's a problem. So you need to set a boundary there. You know
and I
what
think
I'm
it's good. Of course, it's good to have friends. Like
Right.
you need that outlet. You do.
Yes.
But again, there has to be balance.
Yes. Okay, so read the question one more time, babe, because I don't know if everybody got
All
it.
right,
I'm
so
going to
let
put the topic back up just in case you're
All
just
right.
joining. And
Let me
read the
read
question
the
one more
question
time.
again. My wife does not like a friend of mine who has been my friend since childhood. We grew up together, and so we see ourselves as family. However, my wife does not care for her. Keyword, her.
Okay, so we were talking a second ago about
Okay.
same-sex friends, but
Right.
now her issue is with an opposite-sex friend.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. Should I cut my ties with my childhood friend or stay loyal to my past friendships no matter what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he's asking if he should cut her off because the wife does not like her, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But this friend, he says, is basically like a sister.
Right. So
And they're very, very close.
yes. Okay. So here's why I think this is complex, right? Because, okay, asking us this question at almost year 20, it's an obvious answer, I think, for both of us. Both of us would just be like, later for that friend.
Right.
But I do think the earlier in the relationship, probably the bigger of a deal this situation is.
Definitely.
I mean, we just got 2 or 3 comments from Ambry talking about what was like in the first year of marriage. So if this person is in the early stages of their relationship in terms of marriage, this is time where they're actually sort of still trying to build something.
Right.
This is crucial time.
It is.
This is
It
not the
crucial
time to be having a problem like that, in
True.
my opinion, when it comes to these kinds of things. This is an important thing. So here's why I think it's a big deal.
Okay.
If you are a family-oriented person, then what you grow up with is this idea that nothing is closer than family.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And you have this feeling that just because I got married doesn't mean that all of a sudden, you know, my family relationships change. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is family, right? We're family, so we're supposed to stay family the rest of our lives. Well, if it comes down to it, clearly you got to pick your wife over whoever this person is that's supposedly your family.
Yes, but let's talk about why she does not like him.
Okay.
Or her.
Her.
Okay.
Okay. What's the reason?
Well, usually the reason is
Okay.
This is what I'm going to say. It's
Good.
based on my experience.
Good save.
Because I've experienced this. We'll talk
Yes.
about that.
Yes.
Based on my experience and what I have read and what I've seen in other relationships is that the female who is friends with the husband, and y'all tell me if I'm telling the truth, because this is the truth.
The one that's
is
supposedly his family.
The one
Okay.
that's supposed to be his family is
Okay.
usually not respecting the relationship 100%.
So what you're saying really is because respecting
It's not respecting his relationship.
Okay, so really what you're saying is not respecting
100%.
his wife.
Exactly.
That was code for. Okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna just be honest with you. With this woman right here, and probably with every other woman that exists, if you want to get on her good side, if you want to be our friend, the only way is to make sure you come correct with her. You got to respect her. You got to show that you believe that. You got to show that you know that this woman is the first in my life. Once you show
Exactly.
that, April doesn't have a problem with you
Right,
ever.
right.
Like it doesn't
No,
matter.
no.
Because you respect the relationship, which is basically you got to respect her.
Exactly.
That's it.
So natural healer mom, why doesn't the wife care for her? Well, it's because this woman does not respect her in her eyes.
In her mind, she
Okay, in
doesn't
her
feel
mind.
respected.
Okay, because the husband feels like she says hi, she speaks to you, you know, but it's more than that. If I am calling another woman's husband, I am not going to just call him and be like, "Hey, what's up? Let's talk."
Right.
I'm going to say, "How's your wife? How's she doing?"
Yep.
Tell her I said hi.
Yep.
Those are all ways to show
Yep.
I respect her.
Exactly.
I respect your relationship with her.
Yes.
So if that's not happening, and I
Yeah.
mean that's something small to do.
But it's foundational, and
I'm
it's
saying if
like,
you're not doing that,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's a baseline.
right, exactly.
Okay.
If you're not at least doing that,
If you're
it's a
not at
problem.
least doing that,
Right.
then something to me, you're trying to show me as the wife. You're trying to kind of let me know I am not feeling you.
Right.
But I got your man.
So this is
And, you know-
this is the thing I had to learn, and April taught me this. I would say maybe in our first or second year of marriage, and it would happen a lot with church members. Really, April would tell me that there are certain women. See, I would say she would say she's trying to get with you or whatever, and I'd be like, no, that's not true. Or April would say something that she didn't like about the way that this person was relating to me, and I would respond with, "She's not trying to get with me. It ain't like that." And April was like, "Yeah, but that's not important. What's important is that she thinks that in her mind there is a place that is for her that I cannot occupy." And
Exactly.
April said, "That cannot be." I said, I'm hip now. I got it now. So after a while, I started saying, okay, this is not going to happen. When I relate to women, I want them to know in everything that I do that I'm demonstrating that you don't have any advantage over my wife. There is
Right,
no area
right.
you can get to that she doesn't already occupy. You know what I'm saying?
So if the wife feels that way,
Correct.
the wife,
Right.
Not even the person that is supposedly the friend,
Right,
right?
right.
But if the wife feels like, I think she feels that way,
Mm-hmm.
that's enough that I think he should be like,
Agreed.
that's it. Now,
Right.
when I had that situation with my friend, where when I was done talking to her, I would take it out on John. I had to fix that in order to keep that relationship.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I
Right.
had to decide, you know what? I'm going to make sure that when I'm done talking to her, I leave that with her, right? Well, I feel like that's the same with him in this situation, maybe, where he can kind of let her know, look, we don't have the same relationship. Because like once you get married, your relationships change around you. Your parents
supposed to.
changes with them.
Yeah.
Even maybe your siblings. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like it can't be the same because you have a first person now.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
This is my first person.
So
now.
the order of everything else has to change because somebody else now occupies the first spot.
That's right.
That's the point. And who know?
Exactly.
I don't know who occupied the first spot
Right.
before you got married.
So somebody's
It's probably
mama,
your best friend.
somebody's mama might have.
That's exactly
the
right.
mama
Could have been your
got to go
parent.
down.
It has to.
Mama has to go down.
Two people can't be in that spot.
No.
That's the point.
Exactly.
So once that happens, once you get married, somebody gets bumped. Everybody gets bumped down. And as long as April feels like she's in the number one spot and that the other people also know that, then it's fine. It's never a
Exactly.
problem. There is no person we can't have a relationship with if everybody respects the relationship.
Right.
Which means you got to respect my wife. That's
Exactly.
just bottom line.
Bottom line.
This
so,
is my wife now.
So if this person is calling and not even asking about, I mean, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And John has girl friends.
Right.
Friends who are girls.
Yes.
I have friends who are guys. And
Yes.
every time they call me, and they will just call to talk to me,
Mm-hmm.
but they will always say, tell John I said hey. Tell
Yes.
April I said hey.
Yes.
You know, and I'm like, we're cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, she, you know, will text me and say, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, not to have a long conversation or because we don't have the same relationship. I don't have a problem with that because there's a respect there that's shown.
Okay, so what people really want to know, and what I think we should really reveal, is whether or not either of us has people in our situation that we had to drop because they weren't coming correct.
I had a few actually
I
that I
had-
had to drop.
I had a couple too.
Oh my goodness. You know, so I had one friend who gonna text me when we first got married and was like, you know, if he don't treat you right, you know, you call
You-
me
let
'cause,
me-
you
let
know,
me know.
let me know. And I was like, that was kind of a sign for me. Like, okay, you are not this. You need to know that he needs to be thinking differently now. This is
Right.
not just some boyfriend, you know,
Right.
like back in the day.
Yeah.
This is my husband now.
Right.
You
Right.
know, you don't talk about it like that. I don't
Yeah,
know. That
this
was
ain't
just,
no big deal
No.
type situation. This is a new life. I'm one with this person
Exactly.
now. You know what I'm
You
saying?
need to be saying, "Hey, let's get together so I can get to know him." That's what I would rather for him to have said.
Right.
And which would have shown me that he's now ready to, you know, be friends with both of us.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's really our thing. We kind of say, if you can't be friends with both of us, you're not really ready to be friends with either of us.
right.
That's really what it is. And,
yeah.
and it's not that the friendship has to be on the same level. So it's not as though
We got to be besties.
right.
Yeah.
So I have friends that I went to high school with that are still my friends now that are female
Mm-hmm.
that I'm cool with that are also cool with April. But it's not like they're at the same level of cool as me. It's not like, you know,
Exactly.
they don't
Right.
have to have their own separate
Because
relationship
it's
or
been
anything
years
like that.
with you as friends, and we just became friends a few
Exactly.
years ago. Whatever, it's going to be different. So, I'm going to tell a story though about John's friend he had
Okay.
that he had to cut off, and this was so funny, y'all. So he had this friend, and she, we'll just say she did not respect the relationship, not respect me. She would come and see us together and would just talk to John.
Pause for a second.
Okay.
I want my homies now that are watching. I want you to start taking notes because especially if you're early in marriage, listen to the things that April says that she saw as cues that this woman did not respect her. And make a mental note. Let me just tell you right now, if you want to get far with your wife, if you want her to like do something for you tonight, pay attention.
You had to go there, right?
Yeah, I have to every time. I'm trying to help my guys out, man. But pay attention to things like this. And when you notice stuff like this and you mention it to her, you say, maybe before she's able even has to say it, you say, you weren't really comfortable with that interaction with me and her, were you? And then she'll probably say, oh, no, I wasn't. Well, how'd you notice that? And you say, well, I noticed that she didn't ABC. And all you're doing is quoting what April's telling you now. And I'm telling you now it's going to get you far.
I
All
don't know
right,
if
go
I
ahead,
have
April.
ABC.
It don't have to be ABC. I'm just saying
Okay.
they need to take notes and write it down.
Okay. So look at Andrew said, number one, only talk to the husband. Exactly. No, that's number one. Number one, she only comes up and only eye contact, everything.
Right.
Body language, you know, physically turning towards him only.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first sign. Okay. So that's what she would do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she would talk to him and laugh hysterically at everything that he would say.
I'm not that funny.
And not
You know
even
what I'm
look
saying?
my way.
Right.
As I'm laughing too, like I'm like in the conversation, but not in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was almost like it was like them two, and I'm over to the side, and
Right.
I'm like, and it was like
Yeah.
she was creating this. She was, and you know, John was just talking to her like regular, not realizing what was going on.
I didn't know.
Right?
I was too
He was-
naive to realize that
didn't
this is
realize.
something that women do with each other.
Right. With people. With yeah.
That's true with people, but definitely with each other.
Women.
Yes.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
No
Yes.
question.
So she was doing that, right? And we were sitting at this table eating, and we're eating with all of these people. Guys, she was only talking to John. There was several people at this large table. It was at least 10 of us, okay? She was across the table. I'm sitting right next to John. She was only talking to him,
Mm-hmm.
giving him eye contact, you know, mentioning things that nobody else would be able to come into the
Like
conversation.
inside stuff and stuff like that, that
you
only we could
know,
talk about.
Like stuff that they knew from back in the day or whatever that nobody else could relate to, right? So all this is happening. So I said to John, I was like, you know what? This is going on. She does not respect me, and I don't like her.
Now, here was the problem. The problem is
Like
that
her.
April said it to me right then at the table.
I did. I turned to him at the table, and I was like I ain't playing, y'all.
We had been married probably
Like-
like 10 years at this point, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
okay.
not waiting later
Right.
when we go back to the room
Right.
and the day's over and she got all her. Because my whole thing is this girl is getting something from my man and she thinks that he's giving it to her purposely.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he is wanting to give her what she wants when that was not the case,
Right.
but that is what she's going to be thinking.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So I needed that to be taken from her.
Yeah,
I needed
yeah.
her to know, no boo. No boo-boo. This is not what's happening.
And guess what happened?
So I told John what was going on at the table. He literally, I'm talking about immediately.
Like in the Bible, Jesus says that Jesus, he immediately something, you know what I'm saying? It was like that. You know what I mean?
He immediately stopped talking to her. I'm not even joking. I'm talking about like she went on with her regular talk. John turned his body away from
like
her.
she wasn't at the table.
And I started feeling sorry for the girl.
Yeah,
I was like,
it might have been a little, you know what I'm saying?
I was like, that's not what I meant, babe. I didn't mean. No, but seriously, like I appreciated that because right then, I am not even kidding you. She totally changed her demeanor. She talked to everyone after that.
Right.
It was like
now all of a sudden other people at the table.
She said goodnight to me after the evening was over.
Right.
It's just crazy how that works. And it is that what that says is that the man has all the power. Do you understand what I'm saying?
In that certain
in
circumstance
those
like
types
that,
of
there's no question.
situations, you have the power to shut it down.
That's right.
Okay.
And maybe we're the only one in that situation because if your wife goes off on the girl, now she's some crazy woman or something like that, that can never end well.
No. So if I had sat there and rolled my eyes or been like, looking at her or whatever, that would have actually fueled her.
She
like,
had no idea April was even feeling this way. She still has no idea to this day.
Right.
She has no clue.
No, she has no clue.
Right.
And she's
That's how it
still,
needs to be.
they're still cool, but it's definitely not what it was.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
of that experience.
Yeah.
And again, you can still be acquaintances. Hi, bye, how you doing? But it's not going to be where it was. And so that's what I would tell our question.
I think I want to look at Deidre's comment right here, baby. Look at this.
All right.
When one of my male friends got into a serious relationship, it was very important for me to also cultivate a friendship with her as well.
Exactly.
She now introduces me as their friend, but honestly, I naturally took steps back with our friendship when they started dating because I know what the deal is.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's good, Deidre.
And
that's how you should
actually
do
a good friend. That's somebody.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
To me, it shows whether or not the person is really your friend or whether they actually were trying to get with you all this time.
Right.
And that is when another person comes in, do they feel threatened and all of a sudden start acting different and trying to mark their territory with you? Because that's really what they're doing. They're trying to mark their territory. They're trying to show this new person, here's an area that we have exclusively for us that you can't get to. And that's not right. You can't. A person that's really your friend is not going to do that. And if they do it unconsciously and they're not sure that they're doing it, once I confront them about it, if they're really my friend, they will change.
Exactly.
Something will change and it will be better. So, bottom line is you really have to do better with that and make sure that you're not just being willy-nilly about your relationship with somebody else. The moment you get married, even before that, honestly, you should be doing this during your premarital counseling and all that kind of stuff. You'd be thinking about what this is going to look like later on when we get married. I need to be preparing for this now and kind of transitioning my friends and transitioning even my own way of doing things with them so that it's not that hard once we actually get married.
It's true, and it really can start with dating. I mean, when you're dating that person, if you know that this is somebody that you are serious with, you have to start there with those friendships,
Yeah.
But I do believe that some have to be cut off.
Some do.
Because that friendship actually was kind of like cut off. Like,
correct.
again, you're not going to be rude when you see that person. You're going to say hi.
We still say hi. We're more like acquaintances, though. We're not going to have any deep conversations or anything like that because that person demonstrated to me that they are not able to do that we can't actually have that kind of relationship and it be okay because that person didn't know how to respect my wife.
Right. Now, that was not a childhood friend.
No. So it's not the same as this person.
It's not the same as this person, but a childhood friend that you see as a family member, I think that's a little tougher. Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
But I think that if they know you, you can actually set those boundaries easier because they know you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
If they actually love you, they will stay by.
Right.
They're not going to say, okay, I'm done because he's not letting me, put my leg over his leg anymore when we're sitting next to each other.
Right.
That's what you used to do when y'all were chilling at the house. Well, you can't do that anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So if that's happening, you got to cut that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is actually, what do you say? Simple, but not easy. I think the solution is simple, but I definitely don't think it's easy because I feel like the answer is if this person cannot respect your wife, you have to cut her off. That's it.
Or other way around. Oh, you're talking to him.
I'm talking to I'm talking to this person that
yeah.
this wife has a problem with this other person. I think
Yes.
the husband, it's his responsibility to cut it off. So I think that's a simple solution, but I don't think it's easy. I don't think it's easy to accomplish because obviously you have feelings for this person because they're like family.
Okay, but let's pivot just a little bit.
So
okay?
should we take this one first?
Okay, go ahead. Let's take a question.
Which actions from the opposite sex past relationships that should be cut off? Which actions? Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so what are the are you asking, Rehoboam? Are you asking what are the things that sort of let you know that this is probably something that I need to cut off, or are you saying I can keep this friend as long as these specific actions stop? I don't understand exactly what your question is. Oh, okay, I thought that was you responding.
Okay.
It's not.
Yeah,
Anyway.
if they can't respect your spouse, they get cut off. Period. Andrew
Right.
Francis.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that really should. But I'm saying it doesn't have to be that quick. You don't have to chop it immediately. But sometimes you might have to.
What he's asking is, what actions do you see that you know right away? I need to cut this person off.
So
you know what I'm saying?
So the disrespect thing is a big one. Oh, okay. Rehoboam says, okay, as a man,
what actions from other
what
women?
actions from other women give signals off that they do in which you need to cut off? I understand what you're saying now. Yeah.
Well, like I said, right away. First of all, that she does not acknowledge your person.
Yes.
She's not even acknowledging that she's there.
Right.
She doesn't even ask about her.
And so here's the thing.
When you talk about her, she might have a little, well, I hope she's doing you right. Little comments like that can let you know,
Right.
I don't know if she's about my relationship.
Let me say that though.
Let
Let me say real quick, and all the women that are watching, please forgive me, because I saw some of y'all already in the comments, saying like 10 years, like, dang, you didn't know at 10 years? But here's the thing. What you have to realize is, as men, there are certain things that seem obvious to you as women that we don't pick up on as men. So if my friend from back in the day is touchy-feely with me, then I'm going to feel like that's something we should not be doing. But if my friend is doing something more subtle, like I think the three of us are talking, but in fact, April feels left out of the conversation, that's a little more subtle. So in some situations, you may have to actually rely on your wife to point out to you what the issues are, and you have to trust her.
Okay, so that's what I was going to say. See, what happened after 10 years was, after I just whispered in his ear at the table, he cut her off immediately. That's what happened after 10 years.
There you go.
Okay,
That's what happens.
Because the first couple of years, he would say, she ain't doing
Yeah,
that.
please, what are you
why
talking about?
Why are you trying to, babe, you just seeing stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
So-
I know it was you, Saba, who said it was 10 years and all that stuff. I know. That was kind of shady. But whatever. The point is, I'm saying there are things that I can pick up too, but some things I don't get. And especially because of my personality style, I'm an extrovert. And so as an extrovert, April actually had to tell me, sometimes what you're doing could be perceived as kind of flirtatious.
Exactly.
Just because, I'm gonna touch you, I'm gonna do whatever, so I have to like watch that kind of stuff. So when somebody reciprocates and does something to me like I'm doing to them, I'm thinking they might just be an extrovert just like me. I'm not thinking anything of it.
Right.
And then April had to say, nah, this is something. You can't be doing stuff like that. So again, there are times when you're gonna notice it, and there are other times when you might not. And if your wife notices it, you best listen. That's all I'm saying. And she might be mad when she says it, because she might be like, how you not see that?
Okay.
So Rehoboam got it. All right, good.
Okay, so Saba was saying in regards to a woman trying to disrespect April at 10 years.
Oh, that's what she meant.
Yeah. Well, she didn't know.
She didn't know. She
didn't know.
she was kind of just meeting her. So
No, she wasn't just kind of meeting me.
she wasn't?
No. Well,
She didn't know you like that.
No, she didn't know me like that. We didn't hang like that.
And when I saw her regularly because
That's true.
it was job related, and you almost never saw her.
Right.
I'm almost positive
Right.
that
That is
dinner
true.
that night might
That's
have been the
true.
first time you actually
That
met
been-
her.
No. I met her before, but it wasn't like an extended period of time that
Okay.
I was around.
All right.
So it was
So
like,
the
hey,
point is,
whatever. Yeah.
she ain't no April. That's the point.
No, she didn't know me.
Because anybody who know, you know what I'm saying, they just know. We didn't have a channel then, so she couldn't watch nothing. You know what I'm saying? None of that kind. By the way, speaking of the channel, if you want to share this with somebody, go ahead and start a watch party. You can share it. You can share it after it's over, whatever. But there might be somebody that's in your circle that you feel like might need some of these things, and so we invite you to do that right now. And by the way, also, whenever you have a question or something like that, just shoot us a DM on our Instagram, and we can deal with that, from time to time when we get to Because we like to have different, authentic questions. It's better than us just making them up. You know what I'm saying? We like to have
Exactly.
questions that are real, and we have a lot of questions from over the years, so it's easy to pick them. Anyway,
But yeah, so anyway, we just feel like this can actually ruin a relationship
Oh, no question.
because jealousy can get involved. You know, you feeling like someone is put over you,
Mm-hmm.
and as a spouse, as a wife, that feeling is not good.
It's
feeling
not.
like somebody is above you in the relationship, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you have these friendships that may have been over the years that you know, you're just comfortable with that person,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it's been a relationship that you've built since you were a kid or whatever, it can be where the person feels like, you know, the spouse feels like that person's over you if you treat it in that same way that you have 20 years.
So-
you know what
so-
I mean? That
so-
same 20-year relationship the same way.
Maybe we should give some advice to this couple about a way forward, because I do think there are things you can do where you don't necessarily have to cut off every person that's ever been in your life just because you got married. Because,
Right,
because
exactly.
that's the opposite sort of
Extreme.
Yes.
Yes.
There are two kinds of unhealthy relationships. One is unhealthy when there are no boundaries, and there's another one where they're like sort of insurmountable fortresses that people build, where it's like just the two of them and that's
Exactly,
it. That actually, by the way,
exactly.
just for the record, that actually sometimes is a precursor to sort of knowing the person's too controlling. A lot of people that are in abusive relationships, that's kind of one of the
They don't
things
want you to
that
have
they
any friends.
no
No friend is
So
good enough.
We don't want you to get the wrong
Yeah.
impression. We're not saying that once you get married, you stop having friends. That's clearly, you know us. That's not what we're saying. But we are saying that it's important that if there's a fight between your friend and your wife, if there's a conflict, you choose your wife every time, or your husband. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Or whatever, whoever
yeah.
we're talking about in this situation.
And I mean, it could be as simple as when you're with that friend, they are not a good influence on you. I
And that
noticed
happens a lot.
Yes, especially if. Okay,
We-
I'm gonna say this.
you say it.
Especially if you are hanging with friends who aren't married. Now, I'm not saying
people who have never been married, or people who were in bad relationships and are no longer married.
Yes.
Sometimes those people can sometimes sort of bring some negativity to your relationship, especially if this is a person that was in a relationship that failed.
And of course,
And
this
you're
is
taking
not
advice
any,
from them.
Yeah, and it's not any single friend. I have plenty
Correct.
of single friends, so
Yes,
that's not what I'm
as
saying.
do
But
I.
you might have some that are bad influences and that tell you things that are negative about relationships, and you take it home.
Right.
And if your partner feels like, hey, whenever you're with this person, you know, there's a negative vibe that comes back home, then you might need to check that.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree.
Because you can't have that stuff in a relationship. You already got enough stuff in a relationship
So
to deal with.
So what that
than to
is?
add that.
That's like something on the outside that's able to infect what's happening in here,
Exactly.
and
That's a
that's
great way
what
to
you
put
don't
it.
want.
Right.
You don't want a situation where an outside influence has control over your home. That cannot be.
Exactly,
I don't care who it is. It could be a
Yeah.
friend, it could be a family member, it doesn't matter. You don't give somebody else that kind of power.
True,
You do not
true,
do it. And here's the thing. If you don't allow people to have that kind of power, you will, I promise you, be happier most of the time.
Definitely.
Because the grass is not always greener, and there's all kind of people that are dealing with other stuff, and they're going to try to get you to do things according to their way of doing things. And the reality is, if they've never been married, they probably have no idea what being married is like. Is that fair to say?
Well, I think some people can give advice. I mean, I don't
I'm
think
not
that-
saying they can't give advice.
and good
I'm-
advice. They can
Yeah,
give good advice and
that's
not
true.
be married.
That's true.
But I'm saying
I
you
wasn't trying
know.
to. I wasn't trying to suggest that
Okay.
single people can't give a married person relationship advice.
Yes.
But I am saying that there are certain aspects of your marriage that a person who's
May
never
not
been married
understand.
will not understand.
That's true. That's true.
Cannot understand because they
Yeah.
never experienced it. So I think they may be able to read a book or something like that. But I'm saying the kinds of people that you want to surround yourself with in a situation like that are not the ones who are going to make your actual relationship toxic. You know what I'm saying? And some of us are giving our friends too much power over our relationship, and that's not good.
Yeah. And I think that with this guy, if your wife is feeling like she cannot trust you, I know somebody said something about trust, if that she cannot trust you, then that's infecting the relationship.
Right. Right.
Because now, if there were no trust issues, everything was fine. But when this person comes around, you're starting to doubt whether or not your husband, she may be doubting whether or not he actually likes this girl. And that never comes to her mind. Look, the way he is with her, man, they have something special, which they probably do because they've been friends since babies.
And that's okay and understandable.
But
it can't be more specialer than what you have with your
No,
wife.
but what I'm saying is, I think the thing that makes you feel like, I don't know if I trust him, is the fact that she does not include the wife in that relationship. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what she is now doing is causing you to doubt your own marriage that you
Yes.
did not doubt in any other situation.
That's right.
So that, to me, that's a lot of power there.
That's true.
That the
That's
way
a
that they
problem.
interact with each other causes you to doubt your husband, to not trust him, and to be jealous. I think all of those things need to be, and I think she has a right to be jealous.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think jealousy is a godlike feature when it's not, like crazy jealous spouse type stuff.
I'm
Because
talking
the Bible
about
says,
jealous of the fact that he is spending and doing things with her.
That's all I mean.
That he's not necessarily sharing with his own wife.
That's all I mean. I mean, the jealousy we have for each other is sort of a prominence. Like there should be a prominence that we have with each other that other people can't have.
Yeah.
I'm jealous for that. I'm jealous for the position that I have with my wife. It should be only you, and I should be only me
you.
in those particular situations.
Right.
You know
So
what I'm saying?
if I see my spouse, if I see my man with another woman or even another guy, and I feel like when he is with that person, he gives them something that I never get. Ooh.
And we've had that situation before.
He gives them something that I don't get.
Right.
That's an issue. Or he gives them something that I know he only gives me.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a problem too.
Oh. He's giving him that thing. Or I've even seen in relationships where a husband might call the friend, the girlfriend,
Yeah. Like a
sugar,
pet name.
sugar plum,
Yeah.
whatever.
Why would you
Which
pick
is-
sugar
I
plum?
don't know. Which is what he calls his wife.
Ooh. What idiot would do that?
No, I have heard that.
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know that guy.
And, maybe mistakenly done, but my point is, you can't do that.
Nah, man.
You cannot give you cannot give someone else what you give your spouse.
Right.
And you cannot give someone else what you don't give your spouse.
Right.
Ooh.
Right. That's true. That's a word.
No, that is the truth.
That is a word.
That makes you feel a certain way.
I agree.
That will make you feel a certain way. It
So
will.
the verdict is for this couple.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, definitely choose each other over your friends. And if even if you have a very close relationship with this person, you have to help that person to see that the only way for you guys to move forward as family in the future is that she has to respect your wife.
Yeah.
If she's not willing to do that, because in my opinion, if you have a really long-standing history with this person and you go way back with them, I think they deserve at least one shot to not get cut off.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? the person at our
I
table,
agree.
we
I
hadn't had a
agree.
long enough relationship to deserve anything, so we
Right.
didn't do that. But
Exactly.
but this person deserves one shot, I believe, to not get cut off. And if that person does not come correct, that's it. It should be
Right.
done.
Right.
But talk to them and say, hey, listen. And listen, by the way, when you talk to them, do not say, my wife feels A, B, C, D. Do not do that. That's throwing your wife under the bus. Instead, say, you know what? I'm married now, and what I really would like to see is I would love it if you would treat my wife with respect. And
No,
there were
I
a couple of
would-
things that happened that I didn't like.
I wouldn't even go there.
Okay, what would you say?
I wouldn't say that first.
Okay, don't say that first.
What I would say first is I would love for you to get to know my wife. That's what I would say.
That's good. Not,
So-
not a defensive type thing, just
Right.
just an invitation
Yes.
to get to know my wife.
She's a great person. I would
Yes.
love for you guys to
Yes.
get to know each other.
Okay, what if she does not accept the invitation? Do I
That's a
give
sign
her?
right there.
So then don't even give her another chance after that.
No.
Just say, okay, that's
a
it.
sign
We're
right
done.
there. And I mean, and you could have a serious relationship and say, when you said you didn't want to do that, that made me feel like you really don't want me to be your friend anymore because this is my number one now.
This is my wife.
So if that's
Yeah.
the case, I would have thought since we're so close that you would want to have a relationship, and it'll bring out the truth.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that to me, but you start off with that.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
You just helped them out a lot. I don't even know if they're watching, but somebody else is watching and it helped them, I hope.
Yes.
So, guys, we want you to just, remember every Wednesday, 9 o'clock, we're going to be right here. We want your questions. We would love to hear from you. So go ahead and hit us up on our Instagram. You can DM us, and we'll make sure that we include you.
And I would just say one last thing before we leave. Listen to your wife.
Yeah.
If she thinks it's true.
I don't know about all that, but maybe something
if you
close
trust
to
her.
that.
I mean, if it's a good wife, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You're
I'm
right.
talking about,
Right.
No, but I'm saying women can point these things out a little bit faster than men. I'm sorry.
That's true.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Anyway, we will see you guys next week, Wednesday at 9 o'clock right here. Hopefully you join us one more time. And we love doing this, so we'll be excited again.
We love interacting with you guys.
We do. It's been awesome. It's been great. In fact, this helps us because we don't get to see people no more. So now it kind of, well, actually, April's seeing people again, except their kids at school. That doesn't really count. But anyway.
They're not people.
They're people, but they're not the same kind. You want adults. All right, y'all. Next week, 9 o'clock. Follow us. Watch our channel. All that stuff.
Go ahead and subscribe.
Subscribe. All that.
And we'll see you later.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
All right, guys. Bye.